Hey guys, James from Lover's Gear. Quick video about the Vortex ACE weather meter. This is their answer or their response to the Kestrel. Things that we really like about it. It's a little bit bigger, which is actually not a bad thing. You don't really notice the size in your hand too much. I wouldn't say it's too big. It's just bigger than the Kestrel, which is good because it gives you a much bigger screen. Things that we do like, the screen is large, it's coloured. The buttons are easy to access, easy to manipulate. They're not as tactile, I think, as a Kestrel, but they are still difficult. They're quite stiff to press, but they're still responsive. The capture button is the top right one there for directions and wind speeds. The back button is here. The power and select button is the one in the middle. To hold it, to turn it off, you hold it down. To wake it up, you just tap it. I think that's something that needs a little bit of work. I think it should be hold for on and hold for off, so it's not going turning on by accident in your pocket. One of the other main concerns I have with this unit that I've spoken to the Vortex reps about is that when you go into, it is menu, you go to settings, you go to units, and it's only standard or only metric. You can't click on that and select anything else. You can't put Celsius and meters, but foot per second. You can't put yards and meters per second. It's only imperial or only metric. So the closest to what we're trying to achieve is their standard at the moment. And you'll see 503 meters, but then the wind is recorded as meters per second. So no one in Australia generally will use meters per second for wind. We'll either use miles per hour or kilometers per hour, but you can't go in there and change the unit of measure. You can't actually do anything other than adjust the parameters, the actual wind speed. There's a wind 1 and a wind 2. That's the biggest problem that I have with this unit, is that you can't select more, like a more refined selection of units of measurement. If you go into settings, and you change the units from metric to standard, and then you go back to that same advanced screen, you can go down. So now it's in yards, that's less painful, but still, everyone talks in meters here, so that's one thing. And again, you can't do anything other than change the distance. You can't select what unit of measurement it is. So that's that. But now the wind is in miles per hour, which is, for a lot of us, what we would prefer to use, but now we've got to deal with yards. So that means we've got to change our lasers to yards, which means we've got to talk to other shooters in yards, and that's just not really that helpful. With this advanced screen, so that one there, you go in, you can select a whole bunch of different stuff. So you can go back and you can select your profile. You can make it the 300 PRC. That's fine. And then you can go across the target. You can do direction and inclination, which is good. Wind speed and direction. So there's a low and a high, like I said before, and that'll give you different wind holds. You can go weather, and that's cool. This has got all its onboard sensors here. There's all the different bits and pieces. I'll talk about that in a second. So that's good. And then you're back to the start again. So you would you'd set the target distance, and then you'd go into wind. And that's probably the screen you'd be driving it off, so you can adjust the low and the high wind. You can also click on that, and this is a problem I've talked to them about as well. No one wants to use degrees for the direction of wind. You'd rather do clock face, like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 6:30, whatever. Degrees is not great. I mean, it's awesome because you get a high resolution, but no one's doing that. So that's another thing. It's got mover data, which is cool. So target distance, and you can put the direction, you can add the wind for adding and subtracting. You can even give it it started and it stops. You can put brackets, so it might be a 10 mil wide gap that it's moving across, and then you can measure how long it took to go from the left side to the right side, which will give you the speed, which will then give you a hold, which will then include the wind. So that's a really cool feature. It's very visual. The sensor hub is awesome. That is all of the environmental stuff on one screen, as opposed to a Kestrel where you go up and down and actually see what you see as you see it. With this, it's all displayed at the same time. Wind, this is a bit more heavy, which is cool. It's got wind 1, wind 2, which is low and high, the direction. Manual, so you can go into this and you can put interval types, and you can have it set on like a tripod, or you can have it automatically taking updated wind measurements every 5 seconds. So that's actually kind of cool, but I leave it to manual because I don't have it mounted on a weather vane, and when I put it down, it's not going to be taking wind anyway. So I don't use that. Crosswind, headwind, all that good stuff. So that wind feature is actually pretty cool. I like that. What I don't like is, again, that you put in a direction and you might either have to do it in degrees, or you can turn it into a direction and you can take measurements using the capture button. So that's another thing. That's generally what you do. You just aim towards a target, capture, go to wind, aim it towards a wind, capture, and that kind of works. Sources, that's using different stuff through the app. Range cards, that's good. You've got different target distances, and then winds and energy and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty standard. Charts, again, that's the drop chart. So instead of having a target card, you've actually got a ballistic chart for just elevation, and you can change the increments to pretty standard intervals. So 10 up to 100. And obviously that just makes it more refined, and it'll get a bit slower to kind of navigate through. Profile, you can build the profile either on the phone or you can do it on the unit, which is good. It's all pretty standard. Yeah, so I do like this. I think it's a great piece of kit. It's a lot cheaper than like the Kestrel Link with Applied Ballistics. It doesn't have the density of data of like the WES does, where it's got the probability of hit. But I think for most shooters, probably 95+% of shooters, this will be fine once they sort out that different unit of measure selection part of the software. If the engineers can go through and they can update the wind direction and make that a clock face, and then the units, if they can split this up like you can in Geoballistics, the actual app, we've got a lot more control. I think those two things combined will be excellent. There's dark and light. I think I'll just leave it on dark just because I prefer the grey. It's got snake too, if you're into that kind of thing. Whatever. And then just some other bits and pieces. So for the most part, that's the bulk of the screens. That's the functionality of the top vane and the battery cap. Again, just that latch down the bottom, and then there's a little hook in there. You get your thumbnail under that to rip that open. I think that could be, refined a little bit further. That's a hectic clip, and I reckon that's going to get snapped off at some point. If they could sort that out, and those other things we've talked about, I think this will be a really, really, really great piece of kit. Hold for on, hold for off, clock face for wind, and meters, yards, and be a bit more specific with the unit of measurements. I think that'll be an excellent step forward. But overall, Vortex did a good job with this, and I think for the vast majority of shooters, this is fine. It's different to the Kestrel, which is not a bad thing at all. It's a different price point, and it's got different features. So yeah, I'm happy that I bought it, and I'm going to keep using it in the hopes that they update the software in the future. Thanks, dudes. Have a good afternoon.